Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening, wherever you are. It's a pleasure to have Dr. McDougall with us. Let me give you a brief introduction. We are a little late because of technical issues, but let me give you a brief introduction as to how I got in touch with Dr. McDougall and how he is so relevant to the discussions that's going on right now. 10 years ago, when I discovered how important animal agriculture is to the environmental issue, and I wrote my first book, Carbon Dharma, I thought, that's it. People have to just hear the truth, and then the problem will be solved. You see, I was very naive. I was coming from an engineering background where that's how things work. You know, we don't, as engineers, we look at the truth of what is happening and then we address it, because that's how we solve problems in engineering. And I mean, at first, I was shocked that people wouldn't listen to me, hear my arguments, and then it'll go out the other ear. And they would continue to do whatever they were doing before. They would ignore what I was saying. I used to get angry as well sometimes with people saying, why aren't you hearing this? And then as I studied more and more, I realized that this is normal. This is the way things are in the world. And I realized people have been butting their heads for not just a year like I had been doing at that point, but for 35 years, 40 years, they had been saying the same thing over and over. And people are not listening. So right now we are all quarantined. We are staying in our houses. We are putting on face masks. We are doing all these sacrifices. I can't even hug my granddaughter. So we're making all these sacrifices, and then you see people eating animals. And you say, did you not hear the message? I mean, that is the leading cause. I mean, that's how pandemics are created. How come you don't hear this? And so I discovered that Dr. McDougall has been saying this for 45 years. You know, he's been saying it for 45 years. He's been talking about zoonotic diseases. I mean, like diabetes, it's a zoonotic disease. Heart disease is a zoonotic disease. I mean, these are diseases that you get by eating animal foods. And he has been talking about this for 45 years. And he has written so many books. He has created so many videos. He's created programs. He's influenced so many people. Hundreds of thousands of people have gone through the program. And he's the founder of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. He won a Lifetime Achievement Award, ACLM, recently. It is an honor to have you, sir, on this program. And I thank you for being here.
It's my honor. Is our audio okay now?
Yes, perfect.
All right, perfect. And I think we have everything working. I don't know why, but yeah, thank you very much. I have had a passion. I'm a board certified internist. That means I'm a medical doctor. I've seen probably 12,000 people. Mm-hmm. And I've been in practice for more than half a century. But for the last 40 some years, I've been seeing people only for the interest of diet. And 46 years. For 46 years, my passion has been taking people with diabetes, high blood pressure, breast cancer, multiple sclerosis, et cetera, and changing them from the Western diet to a diet that's based on starches with fruits and vegetables. You'd call it a vegan diet. That's okay. You'd call it a plant-based diet. That's okay. But it's really a starch-based diet. In other words, it's based around rice, corn, potatoes, beans, peas, and lentils, with some fruits and vegetables off the side. No animals, no oil. You can read about this on my website, which is drmcdougall.com, if you want to know more. Anyway, that's how I spent my life, and I trained lots of doctors. In fact, you mentioned the ACLM, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. There are 3,500 doctors that I probably had an influence on, if not trained them fully. So after 46 years, I've quit seeing patients. 14 years ago, I heard Al Gore, as many of you did, talk about the inconvenient truth. And you noticed, as I did, that Al Gore didn't mention anything about black Angus cows or cattle, et cetera. And Al was a bit big at that time. By the way, we influenced him, and he did change to a vegan diet, and he did lose a lot of weight. I don't know how he's doing now. But anyway, so it kind of woke me up. I heard that message about inconvenient truth, and I thought 14 years ago, 2006, we're in big trouble. And then the World Health Organization, well, let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah, you should be able to share.
Yeah, I should be able to share if I can find the slideshow. There we go. Anyway, that'll be good.
There you go.
All right. So anyway, I've been taking care of people with a healthy diet for a long time. And there we go. Hey, you know, technology is amazing. All right. Thank you very much for your patience. So let's see. Today's today. I've taken care of 12,000 people. And I'll tell you something, Dr. Rao, it's the same thing with people as the planet. If you just stand out of their way, they naturally heal. And that's one concept a doctor has to get over, is the fact that the natural tendency of the body is to be healthy. And if you remove the things that are making it sick, which is repetitive damage with the uncontrolled fork and spoon, what happens is their type 2 diabetes goes away, they lose weight, etc. That's what I spent 46 years doing. I know it sounds simple, but it works. You know, I've had, like I say, 12,000 patients, and we've published 2 scientific papers. One shows that the adherence rate to our diet is 85%, and that we get nearly 90% of people off all their medications. So that's published. You can find it in the scientific literature under my name. Okay. 14 years ago, when Al Gore came out, I got frustrated, and then I understood my frustration, how I fit in with that. Well, let's see. 14 years ago, I discovered, well, let's see. Well, here's Al Gore that I discovered. And then I discovered livestock law and shadow. I kind of put the 2 together. And then I discovered this guy from the World Watch Institute, Robert Goodland. And he told me, he said that the World Health Organization is wrong. And that the truth is that it's 51%. You guys all know all these figures. Right. Okay. So that's good. But the story goes on. And that is that if we take this message serious, we can make a big difference. And you, Dr. Rao, know this, and so do many of the people. Here's some of the information and the references that show you that a switch from a good American diet to a vegan diet, and I don't like that word vegan, but a starch-based diet with fruits and vegetables with no animals, no oil. What happens is you can reduce the global warming gases by about 70%. There's one study. 70 to 80%. And okay, I said, you know what? You can reduce the global warming emissions in this study with a vegan diet by 25 to 55%, et cetera. You need to know these studies. I mean, we're not talking about something inconsequential. If you believe the World Watch, that 51% of the greenhouse gases are attributed to the livestock industry, and you take this percentage, you say, well, let's see, if I multiply 50% by 70 or 80%, then what I'm doing is I have a calculation where I could drop greenhouse gases overnight by 35%. Just by cutting out the animals. I don't know, maybe my thinking's not right there. All right. So anyway, that's fine and good. You guys all know this, but there's a problem. And the problem is people don't care. I mean, they care, but they don't care enough to change. I mean, Greta Thunberg has told us about it, et cetera. You've turned time to tell us. I'm sure many of the participants here have been trying to say, hey, look, this is important. You got to do something about it. Well, I've been out lecturing, as you say, and trying to, in fact, I wouldn't accept the award for the American College of Lifestyle Medicine unless they gave me 9 minutes to talk about climate change. I spent 21 minutes on my website. I got 3 standing ovations. But, you know, I didn't get a single, this is 500 doctors, actually 3,500 doctors who have probably heard it. I didn't get a single response. 3 standing ovations. They love my message that we have to pay attention. And I said to ACLM, I said, who else is going to fix this but you guys? Because you know about food. Mm-hmm. I mean, the American College of Physicians or the American College of Surgeons is not going to fix it. But the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, they know about a vegan diet. Anyway, nobody's paying attention. No matter how much you folks make a plea, and we got to fix the problem. They say, we can't fix the problem. Yeah, we can. I mean, we once did. We did this in World War I. We did this in World War I. I'm going to get to today's topic in just a minute. We did this in World War I in Western Europe when Germany was fighting Britain, and the British put up a blockade and in the North Atlantic, and they cut off the food supply to Denmark and other Western countries, Western European countries. So you've got this blockade between England and Germany, which affected Denmark tremendously. All right. Well, there's this fellow by the name of McKeel Hinhede. If you're a student in Denmark, you learn about him in your grade school because he's a very famous character. He was a nutritionist in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he had already shown that it was impossible to design a diet that was protein deficient. Now, this is really important because the destruction of the planet, as well as my is based on a theory that we don't get enough protein, so we have to eat meat. And that's just completely wrong. There's never been a case of protein deficiency ever described. Yet, before 1900, Hinhede and his group knew that there's no such thing. I can give you the whole history on how this Voigt and these other decided we should eat all this meat. I mean, you say protein, you say meat. All right, well, Hinhede said, no, you don't have to eat meat. And that was his research said. Then World War I came along, and they had the North Sea blockade, and they didn't get food. So what did Hinhede do? He didn't do what the Germans did. The Germans said we're going to stick with the basic 4 food groups. So we're going to make sure we get enough protein. And 400,000 Germans starved to death during World War II. In Denmark, what they said is, look, we're not going to do this. What we're going to do is change what we eat. Here's one of Hinhede's patients. This is a guy named Madison, lived on potatoes, just potatoes, for a year. I can show you other studies where people have lived on just potatoes and water. I mean, we can go through history and see you can live on potatoes and water. Anyway, he published his results. Here they are, Denmark's results. He published in JAMA in 1920. Read it. I mean, this is free access on the internet. Read it, and what you'll see is his report of what happened to the people in Denmark, the Danes, during World War I, when he made a proclamation to 3 million Danes that we're not going to starve, we're not going to suffer. What we're going to do is we're going to eat the food the animals are eating. We're going to eat the soybeans, the grains, and so on. And we're not going to eat the pigs and cows. So it was in Denmark at that time that, no protein problems. They weren't worried about it. They added a little bit of fat. They ate mostly bran. And what they did is they let the pigs starve to death. Yeah. And if you were a pig farmer, you got a little pork once in a while. If you were a rich person of Copenhagen, you got a little beef. Otherwise, they lived on the kind of diet that we're trying to promote to save the planet. Now, why didn't I tell you this, Dr. Raoul, and the rest of the listeners is, first of all, you're thinking that people won't do this. Yes, they will. They did. Okay. Second of all, 3 million people did it because Hinhede said so. So don't you look at the 7-8 billion people on this planet and say they won't do it. They will. They just got to be presented the facts correctly. And was it effective? I told you they didn't go hungry for the whole time. They ate potatoes, rice, cabbage, and so on, and they didn't go hungry. All right. What happened during that period of time? Can you see the whole chart here?
Yeah.
Or are my pictures in the way?
No, we can see it.
All right. Well, you see the reduction in death from 1914 to 1918? Mm-hmm. Okay, dramatic reduction in death during World War I. Because Hinhede said, we're not going to eat the animals. All right? They had a reduction of 34% in the overall death rate, never seen in Denmark before or afterwards. They saved 6,000 people during that period of time. 400,000 Germans starved to death because they weren't going to be able to make that adjustment. See, the point I'm trying to make is people will make that adjustment. This is not something unreasonable. We've got to do it, but nobody will until now. Thank you, COVID-19, because you have proved to everybody listening and those who aren't listening that we can change overnight.
Right.
Yeah, we can change overnight. We just did it. I'm looking out here in the streets. There's nobody on the street, Dr. Raoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking out. I'm looking out. There's no boats. Oh, there's a streetcar that's empty. Just went by. You understand what I'm saying? Overnight, it's been 2-3 weeks. Overnight, the entire world has changed to where you can see the skies in China.
Right.
You can see the fish in the Venice canals.
Right.
But of course, you and I know there's a problem with particulate matter, which we're not going to go into right now. But this is proved to people we have the potential to make a huge difference. And we can do it if we're threatened enough. And thank God for COVID-19. In some ways, don't get me wrong. Believe me, I'm scared to death. Mary and I are hunkered down in our apartment, isolated. So believe me, this is a real threat. But it's given us a chance to see what's going on. All right. Now, between 1914 and 1918, besides World War I, we had the Spanish flu, right? Between 1919 and 1920. First wave killed a lot of people. Second wave killed 10 times as many. 50 million people died during the Spanish flu epidemic. Spanish flu came the same way COVID-19 came from eating wild animals in the crowded stockyards, the overpopulation of human beings, the viruses, the millions of viruses. You got it. Anyway, so we have the same circumstances. I think the comparisons are reasonable. So let's compare the two. Excess mortality. Now remember, we're talking about the period during Hinde's rule when he said, don't eat animals to the Danes. Look at the death rate for Denmark from Spanish flu. Yeah, almost nobody died from Spanish flu. All right. Look at the death rate from England. I mean, they were still eating the Western diet. Look at from the flu. You know, we talked about overall death rate from 34%. From the flu, it's because of their food. Here's another one. Same information. Look at the people in Denmark. Not only did they drop their incidence of heart disease and diabetes and not hungry one day of their lives, they didn't get the Spanish flu, and they're right next to the other countries. You tell me what happened. I can tell you what happened is they strengthened their barrier of resistance of their gut by eating a healthy diet so the virus couldn't get in. They improved their immune system. So we have a win-win situation. I am so excited. Folks, listen to me. I've been depressed for 14 years. I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about my 7 grandchildren. And what am I going to do? And little did I know that was a little help out there that made the planet stop and listen. Look, folks, we got to, I don't want to have this discussion when Florida is under 7 feet of water or 20 feet of water. It's too late then, but now we can. So what I'm trying to say is, look, everybody's got to learn from this lesson. We've got to take and tell people, no, this is going to change the world. Not only can we change, look at the results. Look at the sky. Look at the water. Look at the fossil fuel burning. I'm not suffering. I'm eating beans. I wish I could show you what I had yesterday for dinner. All right, so here we go. It's all review for you. We got one card to play to save the environment. And that card, because everybody's scared to death about COVID-19, we're going to play that card right now. And I'm going to play it heavy. I'm going to go out, because I've got a few listeners. I'm going to go out and I'm going to tell people who are scared to death, hey, guess what? All you got to eat is like Dr. Hinde recommended for the Danes in the early 1900s. Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, this will give my grandchildren a future. By the way, just look at the potential. Anyway, we only have one card to play. You know that. And that's the food. All right, what are we giving up? To save the planet, we give up yellow and brown food that's unpalatable, disgusting, and stinky. You walk down the meat department of even Whole Foods, and I'm nauseated at the end of the aisle. I'm ready to, you understand, this is not food for a human being. You got to cover it up with ketchup and steak sauce and salt before you can get anybody to eat it. And they're willing to die of COVID-19 because of that. And they're willing to sacrifice our future. And I don't have to tell you that future is numbered in months, right? All right, so let's move along. All right, so what are we giving up? Well, I can give up the meat, but not my ice cream. No, I can give up my ice cream too for my 7 grandkids. Yes, I could. So what you do is you eat a diet that's 90% starch, cheap, planet-friendly, cures. I wish I could share with you. If you look at my scientific papers I've published, we treat multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, obesity, diabetes. You listen to the facts on COVID-19. What are they saying? Old people die. No, they're not saying that. They're saying 52% of the people under age 65 are so sick they need ventilators. They're in the acute care. Mm-hmm. So then they turn around and say, well, they had comorbid problems. And then they say, oh, no, they didn't have comorbid problems. They're just typical Americans. Well, they have comorbid problems. I mean, last night on the news, there was one nurse was talking about one of her patients. And as she discussed him, and he was almost dead, she did mention the word obese. Mm-hmm. I don't think, if I walk down my town, when there used to be people on the streets, 80% of the people, particularly the women, but even the men, are overweight. You look at the data in our population, the United States of America, more than half the people are pre-diabetic, and 14% are frankly diabetic from the food. You show me a healthy person, everybody's got comorbid problems. So you're in trouble as far as it comes to COVID-19. Pay attention. All right, so here we got a situation. I get to cure my patients, which has been 46 years of frustration. I get to teach people how to improve their immune system to the point where they may be just like the folks of Denmark who avoid the Spanish flu, and then they're going to listen. But they're not going to listen to you and I, Dr. Raul, when we say, hey, in 6 years, it's going to be a dead planet. Because that's 6 years from now. And our concern is to make sure we keep the factories going and the cruise ships and the airplanes. Ha, ha, ha. You're living without them right now. Do you want to have this conversation in 6 years? No way. So let's pay attention. Let's tell everybody that this is an experience to learn from. And that is that we can go just like Denmark, 3 million people, Dr. Hannity, vegan diet, nobody starved. Nobody got Spanish flu. Right. Okay, so you get the relevance to what I'm trying to say. Let's stop just talking to ourselves. All right. Okay, so what should we eat? A starch-based diet, which is the traditional diet of human beings. Mm-hmm. You look to Asia, you find rice. You look to Central America, the people of the corn, American Indians, people of the corn. The Andes, they're potato eaters, etc. Eating rich food, meat, and so on is something kings and queens did up until the Industrial Revolution and fossil fuels discovered, and then we all became kings and queens. I mean, look down the corner. What do we have? Dairy Queen, Burger King, right. Imperial Margarine. Excuse me, let's go back to the diet that 99.99% of the people who ever walked this earth consumed. Starch-based. If you don't get the starch part, you don't get it. If you think this is a vegetable diet, you're going to live on cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower, you're dead. You got to live on rice, corn, and potatoes. All right. Get it? Okay. So here you get what you get to eat. You can live on oatmeal. Well, no, you can't live on oatmeal. You got to add an orange to it. You can live on above ground storage organs completely. Above ground storage, excuse me. You can live on below ground storage organs entirely, plus water. Below ground means potatoes, sweet potatoes, bulbs, corms. Okay, if you eat above ground storage organs, these are where the plant stores its energy so it can sprout and renew itself in the spring. Those are known as seeds, which are grains like rice or legumes like beans. Now, to above ground storage organs, you must add a source of vitamin A and C, which means you have to add a flowerette of broccoli or a slice of orange. And I know, B12. You got 20 to 30 years to run out of that. The planet will be dead by then. Okay, so let's see. So this is what you get to eat. You can live on oatmeal and, let's see, blueberries we had this morning. Oatmeal and blueberries. 4 times a day. And get everything you need. You can live on vegetable soup. Isn't this eye appealing? Excuse me. This is, I mean, do I have to go back to the meat and the cheese and the poultry and the fish to make you get nauseated? Do I? Okay. All right, you eat mashed potatoes. If it wasn't for mashed potatoes, I wouldn't be alive because that's all my mother knew how to cook when I was a kid. All right, let's see. Pastas. This is comfort food. Why would you put, I'm not going to go there with you guys. All I'm saying is nobody really likes the cheese unless you salt it. Nobody really likes the meat unless you cover it with ketchup. Now just leave out the bad stuff. All right, vegetable sushi. Any place, any town in America before February of 2020, you could order this dish in every Japanese restaurant in the world, but they're all closed now. All right. Okay, anyway, you get the point. Okay, so what can we do? This is a slide that I put out there before COVID-19, when I was watching Greta. Well, we could go out in the streets and protest, but nobody wants to. You know, Dr. Rao, I'm a pretty old guy. I'm like 73 years old. When the Vietnam War occurred, I was out in the street burning my draft card. Why aren't the children out in their streets? Why aren't they? I mean, there are 4 million little kids talking to adults out there, but why isn't everybody out there? Why aren't old people out there? Why isn't everybody out there? Okay, so we got to mobilize these people. COVID-19 has got them thinking. So we need to take this opportunity to teach them not only can they live in a world of COVID-19, not only can they change, not only will Mother Earth heal herself, but it's a brave new world. It's the way we're going to live. Choice or no choice, it's the way we're going to live. All right. So I'm talking to American College Lifestyle Medicine, right? This is where I gave the original presentation. 500 people in the audience, 3,500 health professionals watched it at least. And I said to them, I said, look, guys, gals, docs, dietitians, you know about food, but you don't know how to build an electric car. I bet you don't know how to put up solar panels and wind turbines. I bet. But you do know how to tell the American public and the world how to eat. And that is the truth. It's called a starch-based diet. It happens to be vegan, but that ain't the point. Okay. So anyway, overnight. You know, I talk to these folks, and because this kind of discussion makes people defensive. So I told the people at American College of Lifestyle Medicine, which, by the way, Mary and I founded in part back about 2004. Anyway, you know, I said, this talk is not about the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. This is about a new organization that I just set up. So I didn't want to offend them. I said, this is the American College of Life Medicine. So don't be offended. Don't take it personal. Anyway, overnight, you know, you can't build Teslas fast enough. You can't build windmills fast enough. You can't build, etc. But you can do this overnight. So we got direction. We got their attention. COVID-19, they're listening. Hit them hard. This is not going to happen for another 2 or 3 or 5 months because there's another Ebola, another influenza virus, another coronavirus right there in the livestock yards out to get us. So if you don't do it now, of course, that's going to be, you know, how much we're going to have left to fix now. All right. So anyway, there's Mary and I. Boom. We aren't going back, Dr. O and folks. We are not going back. Any of you who think we're going back to the world we used to have, think again. Nobody's talking that way. So it's our chance to rule. You are Dr. Hinhidi. You have a chance to take and tell people they can do it. Mother Earth will heal. This is the practical approach to do. There's no reason not to. And I'm so excited. You know, I have not been this happy, this optimistic in 14 years. You understand? I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Thank you.
All right. So anyway, I'm done. Thanks for giving me just a couple minutes. I would appreciate some questions from you.
Yeah.
I hope you appreciated my enthusiasm, my sincerity.
I truly appreciated it. I'm so grateful for your enthusiasm.
Hey, Dr. O.
Yeah.
I'm not playing. Get out of my way. Not you, but the rest of us. I'll tell you,
Right.
I've been at this for 73, well, a long time.
Right.
And I've gained a lot of skills just like you have. And just turn me loose. Hey, by the way, a couple of things. I'm going to be on Coast to Coast AM radio, which goes to probably about 3-4 million people will be listening on Friday night, which is April 3rd, I believe.
Awesome.
10 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be talking about exactly what we're talking about now. I'll be talking about COVID. I'll be talking about climate. I did a show with the same, I did about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I think you listened to it on with George Norrie. We talked to 2.4 million people about climate change. And I'll tell you what happened. Wasn't pretty. I think the producer's mad at me, but for the next, they invited me on for an hour. They asked me to stay an extra hour. So for 2 hours, I talked. And the calls that came through were things like, hey, you're a nut. Excuse me? Yeah, you know, this climate change thing is all a bunch of hoax. Or there's some, you know, electronic field coming down and get us. I listened to that for an hour and I said, I'm not going to put up with that again. So next Friday night, be prepared. Nobody's going to call up and give me a hard time because I don't have patience anymore. But it was a fun show. And you can listen to it on Coast to Coast. It's still there up on their archive. But it doesn't matter. Friday night, you can listen to it free, 10 p.m. Pacific time. Just look up Coast to Coast AM radio, and you'll find out what station in your town has the show. And there are over 650 stations, and I'm going to be a SOB. Plan on it.
Awesome. You're going to be a force of nature.
Listen, I have turned 73 years old. I'm just getting started. No, I've been doing this for a long time, really. I just have changed my focus. Remember, I've taken care of 12,000 people over 46 years, and basically 90% of them have been cured.
Right.
So I have a good reputation out there, but you know, it's not my interest anymore. My interest is in what you folks are interested in. I've got 7 grandchildren. I know how to fix the problem. And I met Dr. Raoul. I mean, I knew part of the answer, but thank you, because your white paper and your explanation and your enthusiasm and your optimism, I tell you, you turned my life around. Because I was wallowing in depression. And you and I and the rest of the group working together, we're going to fix this place. You plan on it.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you by my side, Dr. McDougall. Awesome.
Well, you just wait till it gets tough. You're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to stand this crazy guy."
Yeah,
I'm not. Listen, I have too much at stake, and so do you.
Right. Yeah.
Don't tell. You know, I'm sure none of us listen. I'm talking to the choir. I'm sure none of people listening are saying to themselves, "It's not worth it. The planet's not worth it."
Now, suppose
I got to give up my corned beef sandwich. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Well, I'm sure we have no audience listening that way, but you know, there's a path, and Dr. Raoul has taught us that path. And I've shown you some of the reasons why that path is sensible and practical and doable. And COVID-19, thank you. Because, you know, Raoul, Dr. Raoul, they got nothing else to do but listen to you and I for the next, you say 3 weeks. There are people out there that say, what, April 30th? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your hats. I think we're going to be listening for 18 months or 24 or a long time. We got lots of TV time to get these people. What we're going to do on our website is we've given everything away free. Mm-hmm. I used to have 2 classes up there, one for $800, one for $400, so CME, CEU classes on nutrition, and one on to doctors, the CME course, on how to treat diseases with dietary approaches. We're putting them up for free. Everything's going to be free. You can't get CME credit or CEU credit or certification, but you can watch the whole presentation for free at drmcdougall.com. So we're excited. They have nothing to do except watch Netflix and you and I. So we got their attention. It's time to talk to them. Right. Time to entertain them. Time to they're paying attention.
Right. I have a question for you.
Ah.
So suppose you were able to give people the right food to eat. Magically shows up in their doorstep, right food to eat.
Right.
On average, how many days does it take for people to heal themselves with the right food?
4 days.
4 days? That's it?
Sometimes 7.
Wow.
Excuse me, let me qualify. I've been taking care of 12,000 people for half a century.
Right.
I published in the scientific literature. You can look in the journal Nutrition and also MS and related diseases. I just published 2 papers. I run a 10-day program in Santa Rosa, California. Oh, I did before COVID-19. Now I'm out of business. I got nothing to do except talk. Anyway, I've taken care of, like I say, 12,000 people. And I've had a chance to live with them for 10 days. And usually it takes 4 days. In 4 days, they started losing weight. They dropped their cholesterols. We order extra toilet paper at the resort because you know why. Right. Anyway, by 7 days, here are our results. I mean, they're published. You can look at Journal of Nutrition. They're published. Our results in 7 days are an average of 3.1 pound weight loss, eating as much as they want, a 22 milligram per deciliter drop in cholesterol, an average drop in blood pressure, over 14 millimeters of mercury. They drop their SED rates, inflammatory markers, et cetera. And this all happens in 7 days of making a dietary change. They go home. Oh, we also reduce their medication. This is published. I mean, OHSU, which is right over there, published my paper, the Portland Medical School. It did a study of our results, and nobody's questioned our results. Okay, so you can read the publications. We get. Let me tell you the compliance rate. This shocked them at OHSU Neurology Department. It's Oregon Health and Science University. They came when we finished the study on MS. First thing they said is, "I don't believe this." Right. And of course, they were collecting the data, and they were doing everything but the education, which I was doing. They said, "You know, your compliance rate is 85% over 12 months." I said, "I can't get people to take my blood pressure pills at that rate. I mean, I can't get half my people taking their blood." They said, "Here's the data," and you can see it in our work. I didn't have anything to do with it and analyzing the data. 85% of our participants, just with a slight education at my 10-day program, were compliant with the diet at a year. Our other publication on 1,615 people shows that we get nearly 90% of people off all their medication or reduce their medication. That's in 7 days. So you ask me, how long does it take to heal? Okay, if you're not all better in 4 months, then you're not going to get better. Now, a lot of people have weight loss that exceeds that 4-month statement. Like, for example, people lose, let's say, 10 to 15 pounds a month. I got patients that have, a couple of years worth of fat. And by the way, fat is made of carbon chains. Think about it for a minute. What happens when all these people lose weight to that carbon? We got a real problem. We got 2 people for every person on this planet. We don't have 7 billion people. We got 14 billion people when we start burning carbon. Right. Anyway, we get them off their medication. In 4 months, our rheumatoid patients, they have still crooked joints, but they stop hurting. It's in my May 2012 newsletter, the whole discussion on rheumatoid. You'll find all this on my newsletter website, drmcdougall.com. Free. Everything's free now because you can't come to the clinic. It's closed. There are no airplanes. It's closed. We're not running vacations anymore. The hotels are closed. Everything's closed. The website is open and it's free. Now's the time to teach and learn.
Right. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
How long does it take the planet to heal? Dr. Rao, excuse me, my patients heal in 4 days. Can you get Mother Earth to heal in 4 days or 4 months, huh? Let's do a little competition here. Right. I bet she does. I bet if you give her half a chance, she heals in 4 months. Yeah. Hey, look, how much has it been since COVID showed up? 3 weeks?
It's about, 2 to 3 weeks since we really had.
You can see the dolphins and the fish in the canals in Venice. You can see the sky over China. Right. You could probably give me 100 other examples. How fast does the planet heal?
Right. You can see that. You can see it in real time.
Yeah. And will people do it? Then we got their attention. Right. Can we teach them to do it? You bet we can. Are we going to do it? You bet. And who's going to help us? COVID-19 and Hindi. Yeah. You bet. Because we have the truth and the facts and the... Yeah, and I would guess the meat and the dairy industry are suffering terrible. Hopefully they are. And I always tell people, I said, look, if you eat like we do, you aren't going to starve because when the refrigeration goes off, our food will be just fine. Your food's going to stink in 2 days. So, regardless of how you think about it, you've got one choice, and that is You can either follow the diet that Dr. Raoult and I recommend, and the rest of you folks out there. You can either follow it involuntarily and get ready for the disasters, or you can change now. It's up to you. Hey, Mary and I changed over 40 years ago. Still alive. Still alive. So my patients have been changing for the last 46 years. Still alive. You choose. You want to change now and eat like we do? Last night we had a curry over rice. Ooh, what are we having tonight, Mary? We got beans. We're having bean burritos tonight.
Awesome.
Okay. If I took you over my refrigerator, you go, my goodness, there's no animals in that refrigerator. We don't eat them. I'm not saying it was easy, and our change took place a long time ago. We can go into that story later. But anyway.
You are awesome. You are awesome. You look so healthy that I'm sure your grandchildren are going to enjoy your presence for a long time to come.
Well, I lived a charmed life until about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Mary and I, we ran some very successful businesses, all dedicated to health and to people.
Right.
We have a great family. Everything was fine, and then I experienced climate change. And we went through the wildfires of October 2017 and the Tubbs wildfires in Santa Rosa. And I, along with 5,000 of my neighbors, lost everything, material. We lost nothing. We lost everything. I lost my Tesla. I lost my car, my home. Swimming pool's fine. But I lost everything material. And so it's been a tough couple of years for me. Broke my leg, a few other injuries. But I'm back. Yeah.
You're back. Yeah.
And you know what? Not only am I back, I'm better.
Yeah, you did a video on self-help from COVID-19.
Yeah.
That has over 90,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, it did 90,000 views in, 8 days? Mary and I did one that got 55,000 views.
Right. There's a lot of information in that video about how you can help yourself during this era, during this time.
Save money, stay alive.
Yeah. I had one question about that video. You were talking about the gloves that you wear going out. When you go out, you wear gloves.
Right.
So when you come back, if you wash the gloves with soap and water, will that do the same thing? No?
Well, you could, sure, and rinse them with alcohol. That'd be okay. Mary and I, we met in an operating room 48 years ago. She was a surgical nurse for the most famous orthopedic surgeon in the world. I was a senior in medical school. We met in an operating room. I also was a surgical nurse for 4 years. That's how I put myself in medical school. So what we tried to teach you is sterile technique. Because being an operating room, you can't spread germs. So we taught you how to put on and off your gloves, how to wear booties, how to sterilize your environment, etc. That's what that one video talks about. But, it's one of the things I said in that video that I hope got people's attention was, one of my classmates when I was in medical said, how many sperm does it take to get a woman pregnant? How many of COVID-2 viruses do you need to get somebody dead? If you hold up more than one finger, I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, wow.
So
just one. Wow.
It only takes one. Why just one? Why would you expect otherwise? One becomes 10 million in a couple of days. These viruses are really big stuff. But again, I would point out to you, this is just the beginning. SARS was like 14 years ago, COVID-1. Yeah. And that didn't go so far. The Spanish flu was a century ago, and then we had the Ebola threat. It's just around the corner. So my contention is we have enough reason to change now. And I don't want to be having this conversation with you, Dr. Raoult, and you folks, when I say Florida's covered in 20 feet of water. That's where I received my award, was in Orlando, Florida. And I told the folks, I said, we're in this big hotel in Orlando. I said, so think about it for a minute. Next time we get together, you're going to be under at least 4 feet of water if you don't listen to me. I don't want to have a conversation then. I want to have it now. Now, when we have something to do. But you've got the message, Dr. Raoult, and you've got the Army. I got an Army too. They're called the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and they're out there ready to fight. They just are scared.
Right.
They're scared. They don't believe that they have that much influence, but I have influence on them. So things are going to happen.
Things are going to happen. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see people now wanting to, put on face masks when they go out regularly. I mean, we're willing to do all that, but we're not willing to change what we eat, which is causing the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like, of course we are willing to do that. If people tell us, people are going to do it. They just don't know.
Well, just think about, what we're going through right now, and you and I and the rest of your audience out there, your friends and your workers, comrades, that it's going to be much, much worse.
Right.
When the impact of climate happens. This is child's play. This is nothing compared to what's going to happen to us in 6 years. It's going to be too late then. Right now, we have an opportunity. Let's not miss it. They're paying attention. They got nothing else to do. Game of Thrones is no longer on the air.
Right.
Except to listen to you and I and the rest of the folks on this channel.
Right.
They got nothing to do. And you know what? They're scared, just like you and I are scared, or you should be. If you're not scared, you better be. Anyway, my son, by the way, who is a full professor at OHSU in medicine, he's scared. And my daughter-in-law, who's a family practitioner that works on the front lines, she's scared.
Right.
We're here in Oregon, and they haven't started killing health professionals with COVID-19 yet.
Right.
But I am. This is personal for me, the COVID thing. But I got 7 grandchildren, so to me, this is an opportunity, and it's going to be a painful opportunity. But good grief! Well, you and I know, all of you folks, and I know about the future. I just soon. No, I wouldn't. I'll be around.
Right. Right. Yeah. Now, this is the least we can do for the doctors and the healthcare professionals on the front lines, is to just change what we eat so that we don't go there in the first place. Right, so we heal ourselves. Yeah.
Watch the news. I got this prejudice eye, and when I watch like CNN and the other news, I see the ER doctors and the different doctors come on. Excuse me, it's rare that we see somebody as trim as you and I are all, Dr. Sleep, Dr. Rowe. The whole planet is sick. Right. The data is clear. What is it? 17% are obese in this country. Within a couple of years, we're going to have population that 30 to 40% are obese. Half the people are pre-diabetic. 14% are diabetic. Where are the healthy people? Where are they? They don't care, because being sick and overweight is normal. Right. Look at the TV commercials. It's not normal. It's not right. For a whole bunch of reasons, it's wrong, and I couldn't fix them. This is where my apology comes into you. Is I spent 46 years. I've been on Larry King. I've been on pretty much every big media you've talked about. I've written 13 national best-selling books. When I started this in 1976, I was graduating from 78. I was graduating 76, 78. Between 1976 and 78, I went to my chief of medicine. I said, I discovered what causes 80% of illnesses. I had graduated. I got my internal medicine degree. And that's the food. And I said, there's going to be a line all the way from my office to the Honolulu airport waiting to get in to see me. He laughed. I laughed. Never happened. But, so I failed. I spent 46 years knowing why people are sick and how to fix them. And I've helped, a few million people. But that wasn't my goal. My goal when I discovered it was, look, if I knew what caused pneumonia and how to cure it with penicillin, I would think people would be interested. I know what causes diabetes, breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, MS. I'm a doctor. I know these things. I have the experience. You have any doubt? You look at what I've been doing. Right. You would think that people would buy what I want, what I have to sell. Well, you're wrong. Okay, now you and I and the rest of the folks here talking, right. You say to yourself, well, it's obvious. Why aren't they listening? They're not. Don't assume they are. Mm-hmm. But we got them right by the you-know-whats right now with COVID-19. Right. They're listening. Right. So, excuse me, but if we miss this opportunity, there'll be another one in a year or two, even worse. But we miss this opportunity. How long does this set us behind as far as saving Mother Earth? Yeah.
No, this has to be done right now. We have to tell people because they are willing to do things. They're showing that they're willing to do things. That, society has changed so much just to help the doctors because they see them.
In 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
I know.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. I mean, to me, it is like
a month ago and told me this is the world we'd have in 3 weeks. I'd have gone, you're kidding.
Right. I know. Yeah. Yeah. This is Greta. What Greta is asking for. Airplanes are not flying as much anymore. Ships are not going anywhere. I mean,
no cruise ship.
Yeah, the greenhouse gas emissions have come down, like estimated 30%.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about more of that.
Yeah, you talk about a particular matter, not when I'm here. I don't.
Right. Right. We'll talk about that. So
we do have a lot of questions coming in. Are
Okay,
you guys ready for
Start with the
questions? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, all right. Rebecca's got a whole bunch of questions coming in on the Zoom chat.
Okay. The first question is from Amy Miliardi, and she says, question, we are doing things like peeling apples, washing produce with soap, plant-based, and cooking most foods. Do you think that is being overly cautious as it relates to COVID-19? Also, any suggestions for sanitizers if we have no access to them?
Well, the solution to pollution is dilution. Okay. So it's, this is the way you deal with the virus, is you must rinse it away. Soap takes and breaks up the particulates so they can be rinsed away. The solution to pollution is dilution. Now, I think you should be scared. I think you should treat this seriously. I don't care whether Mary and I may have been exposed. I may be already immune. I had a couple of encounters with COVID issues that probably I've had it. But still, we live in isolation because I'm not sure. And until I find out, anyway. Okay, your question was, what should you do? Well, I think you should be careful. I've got water being delivered here in a few minutes. And I'm not going to touch the bottles until I wipe them down with Lysol, or 99% alcohol, or I've got a UV light that may or may not work. I'm taking this real serious. Then I'll bring the 6 5-gallon bottles of water into my home. I just went and picked up the packages a few minutes ago. Again, I was very careful. I kept my gloves on while I opened the packages. This is no joke, folks. Mary and I, we were just over picking up our packages before this talk. And we walk in the house, we take off our shoes, we put on our house shoes. Our rug at the entrance of our home is sprayed with disinfectant so that our shoes get cleaned when we walk in the house. We take our gloves off. We're always wearing gloves when we go out. We're not wearing masks when we just walk. But believe me, when I go to the supermarket next time, I'll look just like when you saw that picture of me in the airport. I'm going to look so funny. Not anymore. I'll be in place. You need to be careful about inanimate fomites. They're called fomites. They're like paper bags. And as far as your food, if you cook your food to 170 degrees Fahrenheit, then you'll kill influenza virus and probably COVID virus. So we eat cooked food. Our food is pretty much cooked. I think anything short of avoiding that virus or trying to get rid of it or cooking your food thoroughly, you should assume it's contaminated. I do. You think I'm paranoid. Well, maybe I should stop watching the news.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The next question is from V, and I'm sorry, V, I can't see your name here, but heart disease kills approximately 2,000 people every day. Any way people can be convinced to switch to plant-based lifestyle for their health and the planet? What can we do to help?
Well, I kind of explained that. That's how I've kind of spent the hour. You're right.
Yes.
People are sick. I mean, just look. They're sick, and your figures are probably right on, but they just don't care. So that's been my plea. I thought, my goodness, do you believe what Dr. John McDougall discovered? I thought, boy, am I going to be helpful? I didn't think famous or rich. I said, boy, oh boy, I'm going to be a really helpful doctor. That was 46 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. I've taken care of 12,000 people. Personally, I probably influenced several million. But I haven't changed the world. In fact, when I first started doing this in the 1970s, 14% of the people were obese. Now it's close to 40%. You call it a winning streak. I call it something different. But yeah, heart disease is 100% preventable, 100% curable. It's caused by the food. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the food. It's not exercise, which is important. It's not sunshine. It's not taking pills. It's the food. The food.
Great. Thank you. Shall I go on, Deborah?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got more. This one is from Laney, who says every post he sees about connecting the virus to animals results in people saying it's not caused by the animals, ? People's comments saying that it's caused by something else.
You mean like those magic rays coming from the sky? Or let's see, there's some conspiracist over here that's getting me. I know what it is. It's aliens. Aliens are getting me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Thank you so much. Let's see, and thanks for your question. What do you think of high dosing of vitamin C for COVID-19?
I had Linus Pauling on my radio show, two-time Nobel Prize winner. And unfortunately, I lost that tape in the fires.
Oh.
I lost many tapes. But, Linus Pauling died of prostate cancer. He used to recommend 10 grams of vitamin C. I really don't. Well, let me tell you, I think it's one of the least toxic supplements. The other ones will increase, we're talking about vitamin A, beta carotene, vitamin D, vitamin E. They'll increase your risk of death, cancer, and heart disease by 20 to 30% because they cause nutritional imbalances. I think C's it's not quite that toxic. Totally unnecessary to take these supplements. In fact, it's overlooking the fact that plants have the proper balance. There's one study in China where they had an increased risk from cancer from taking supplements of vitamin C. But otherwise, I think it's probably it's a misplaced effort. Whether you take it or don't take it, I don't care. Where do you get vitamin C from? Fruits and vegetables. How much vitamin C does a slice of beef have? How much? None.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Got another one here.
By the way, my audio is working perfectly on this computer now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to work at it and find out. And I do apologize to Deborah and the rest of the folks because I gave you a hard time. I wanted this to go so well, and it was me that somehow screwed up. Thank you.
No worries. No, everything went out great.
All right.
Yeah, it's going great. While she's looking for that,
All right.
I'll just say, 25 years ago, I had ulcerative colitis, fibrocystic disease, and hypoglycemia. Healed them all by changing my diet in less than 7 days, and I felt so good at the end of that time period that I never wanted to go back. And I have been healthy ever since. Healthy. And so I think the more people that experience it and tell their stories, the more it's going to influence more and more people. Unfortunately, it does seem very difficult to get the powers that be that are financially invested in the system that profits so well for the industries. It's hard to get people to listen, but more and more people that step over to the other side, the better. And yes, now we have COVID-19, which is, it carries many gifts. Are you ready, Rebecca?
Yes. This is from Chris Hoffer. This is an issue that has been weighing heavy on his heart. I have heard from whole food plant-based advocates that the coronavirus is a political hoax meant to upset people. So
next question. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I don't go there anymore. You're wasting my time.
Okay.
This is not a hoax.
Right.
Planetary destruction is not a hoax.
Right.
Did I say that clearly enough?
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Deborah, I want to get back to you. I really enjoyed your story, but I want you to know I'm a slow learner too. Let's see. When I was a little kid, I had bowel problems and constipation so bad I'd be embarrassed to tell you the stories. At 7, I lost my tonsils. At 12, 13, 14, I was at the back of the pack when running. Got the usual acne. At 18, I had a massive stroke. I mean,
Wow.
if you walk, you'll go, my God, why does he walk so funny? Well, if I've been limping for 55 years, I still can't make pork chives on my windsurfer. Well, I do, but they're not so good. So do you see me right now? I'm 139 pounds. I used to be 238. Mary fell in love with me when I weighed 200. See what a great personality I have? Wasn't my good looks. So, you and I have been there, and once you change, you never look back. You never go, oh, I wonder if there's another diet. Maybe I should look at Atkins. Maybe I should look at paleo. Oh, I think maybe it's a gluten problem. You never do that anymore once you find out the truth. So the truth is simple, easy to understand. It's not complicated. The human being is a starch eater. They're starchitarians. They're starchivores. I'll show you 99.9999% of the people who ever put footprints on planet Earth lived on starch-based diets. Think about it. The Chinese, the people in the Andes, the Incas, the Mayans, Central America, the Aztecs. Think about it before refrigeration. Think about it. What's the human diet? We have become so misguided. The result is dead planet, dead people. Excuse me, pass the tri-tips to somebody else.
Amen.
I have one more question, if that's okay. And this
All right,
is
listen, I got lots of time, so whatever.
Good. Okay. This is from Renee King-Sonnen. Oh, I just missed it.
Yeah, how would you influence elderly folks in their 80s
Yes, thank you.
that are so set in their ways that they think that nothing they do will make a difference?
The 80-year-old people?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
How would you influence them?
I'm pretty close to 80.
Right.
Well, okay, you could take the attitude some people do that, what we ought to do is let COVID-19 run rampant, get rid of those old people. One way of looking at it, but they aren't my friends. How do you convince old people to do it? I don't know. I don't seem to have any problem. This is not an age problem. I'll tell you what you need from people, and I've learned this over 45 years, is you need people who are of reasonable intelligence so they can read and understand. Mm-hmm. And you need to have people who like themselves. That's important. If I'm dealing with a patient, and Dr. O, if you're dealing with a follower, and they don't care about themselves, you don't have a chance.
Right.
You have to have the self-love, the self-worth. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you say to them. They don't care. They just soon, So I don't care whether you're 80 or 8. If you're interested in your life and doing the right thing, you're going to listen. And I never know. I can tell you, I've sat there with a dentist, for example, comes to my mind, that I took care of a few years back. It was ready to go to heart surgery. It was Monday. He was in the operating room on Wednesday. This is a dentist, well-educated guy. I said, look, I pleaded my heart out. This is like 40 years ago. I showed him everything. I came home and I said, Mary, I said, I just talked to this very intelligent man who's about ready to go through heart surgery, get brain damage, and risk his life. Mm-hmm. And, he wouldn't listen to me, Mary. And I got a call a couple of days later. He said he went and had heart surgery. You know what she told me, Dr. O? She said, just take the money. There's a lesson in that. We can go out and try as hard as we can, and don't get offended by people not listening. You got to just keep going on to the next person. Mary said, just take the money because she had to put shoes on the kids.
Right.
You get the point. I personally was hurt because, and I'm sure many of you are. You go, can't you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you sit there, you look at you. What is going on? Didn't I speak clear enough? Aren't you intelligent enough to hear this? And you blame it on yourselves, but just go to the next person.
Yeah, I think it's Renee's mother she's talking about. So Renee, it's her mother who's in her 80s.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? She'll be fine. She must be isolated, period. You know that. And it's never too late to feed people well. You asked me how long does it take to improve the body? I told you 4 days.
Right.
Honestly, I've taken care of at my clinic 6,000 people. I've touched 6,000 people. And I start out on Friday night with these people. And I say by Tuesday, everything will be okay. And by Tuesday, they're off the drugs. By Tuesday, they like where they're at. By Tuesday, they love the food. I mean, the food is amazing. We have, for breakfast, oatmeal, and we have hash brown potatoes. Maybe you can help me here, Mary. We have a bean and rice dish, and we have some cold cereals and fruits. And for lunch, we go on and we have things like, what is the vegetable rice dish called that everybody loves? Harry? Oh, where you take the rice and the vegetables and then you put your peanut sauce over it.
Oh, that's just.
Anyway, you can go to my website. The menu for our former 10-day program is there. We got 700 recipes there. Mary, who's sitting in the background,
Right.
she has published over 4,000 recipes. Well, everything's free. It's on the website. All the stories I'm telling you are on the website free. We have probably 100 videos on the website free. I've got 2 courses that we charge $400 and $800 for, which will be free sometime this week. I presented for doctors, dietitians, nurses, and just people interested in knowing about nutrition and how to get people off drugs and heal their disease. We're giving everything away free.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I'm out of business, which is okay.
Right.
But now I have all the time in the world to discuss what's really important, which is my grandchildren. I got 7.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I got 7 grandchildren. How many do you have, Raul?
1. I have 1.
Yeah, well, she's cute.
Yeah, she's my boss. She rules my life.
You'd do anything for her, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put my life down for her.
Yeah, well, we will. We may have to. That's okay. I'm 72 years old.
I love it. Well, we have some more questions in the Q&A box. And let me say to Renee, I live with my father who is 97. He's not ready to become a vegan, but we make sure that we get a lot of vegetables and fruits, fresh vegetables and fruits in the diet. And he has gotten to the point where he recognizes that he feels better when he doesn't eat meat at night. And he started to tell me, I think I'd rather not have meat with dinner. We'll just have some vegetables and some beans, and he sleeps better. So he started to recognize that, and I never thought that would happen. So go figure.
Okay, I just want, you brought up the point, Deborah, and again, thank you for your patience this morning. When people decide they're going to become vegan, they make this serious mistake, which is to eat a high nutrient-dense diet. They think a vegan diet is a diet of sprouts and carrots and cauliflower, broccoli. You're going to starve to death. A vegan diet, a proper vegan diet, is a starch-based diet. If you don't understand that, you'll never succeed. The bulk of your food must come from high-calorie, high-carbohydrate, low-fat, non-animal product, high-energy foods called rice, corn, potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, etc. That's 90% of the food you see on your plate. You don't have to measure it. You don't have to weigh it. You don't have to count the calories. Just eyeball it.
Right.
90% of your food needs to be starch, and then you eat fruits and vegetables, frozen, fresh or frozen, thawed, cooked. I eat cooked food. I eat raw food too, but the human being eats cooked food. So anybody who teaches you raw food or you need to eat a nutrient-dense diet doesn't understand our needs.
Right.
So what did they eat in India when you were growing up, Dr. O?
Rice was the main base for everything. We did rice and wheat for breakfast. Rice and lentils.
Was anybody overweight or sick back when you were a kid?
No, it was very rare to find someone overweight.
Yeah.
I
went to India like 4 or 5 years ago, and I want to tell you, the Indian culture has changed.
Right, I know.
Boy, they are more modern medicine than even the U.S. And statistics released by the World Health Organization say that the middle class suffers as much as the upper class in India, whereas the lower class still maintains their diet and trains good health.
Yeah, I don't see obesity in the villages of India.
Right.
I see it only in the cities. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can just have to open your eyes, and you can see it not only in terms of health and diet, but in terms of planet.
Right.
The truth is simple and easy to understand. You just have to open your eyes. When we get time, I'll tell you how my eyes were opened in 1971 by Dennis Burkitt. He was a surgeon from Edinburgh, Scotland. And he changed my life during one noontime conference. Next question.
Right.
Okay, next question is, Miles asked, please speak about the doctors that take an oath of do your best to do no harm, yet my doctors do not speak about meat and dairy as unhealthy. The Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment are virtually silent about the diet consequences. And he goes on to say they do have one slide calling to reduce meat consumption in a slide deck. They use IPCC ranking of meat and dairy being 14%. And then he asked, do we need an action like that, like the one that was taken against the tobacco for the injury they've caused?
5 years ago, I introduced a bill in California, which was passed into law, called SB 380. SB 380, I hate to claim it, but I was the single physician who supported it. It was passed unanimously by both houses of California. And Governor Jerry Brown signed it into law September of 2011. What this law says, which I wrote, and don't tell anybody, what this law says is that you must teach doctors about nutrition. We're talking about 11 medical schools in California. We're talking about over 600 noontime conferences. They have to talk about nutrition. The problem is that you read in any place, doctors receive no education in nutrition, none. They learn biochemical formulas. They do not learn dietary therapy. So your question, why doctors so about this is because this is a trade organism. The medical schools teach you how to pass the exams and how to do a trade. This is not higher education. So why would you expect them to do anything that's not in their financial interest? Now, I want to address Canada. In 2019, the Canadian Dietary Guidelines gave the dairy industry and the meat industry the same amount of voting power as the individual citizen.
Oh, okay.
So in the dietary goals of the Canadian Dietetic Association, I'll slow down.
All right, yeah, slow down.
In the Canadian goals of the Dietetic Association, they do not give prominence to eggs, meat, and dairy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one is, can it be transmitted by a mosquito or a tick bite? The
What is that,
COVID-19.
COVID?
Yes. Can the COVID-19 be transmitted by mosquito or tick?
Listen to the news. As far as I know, no.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
You've heard no.
But it comes out of secretions. You know, it's every place.
Mm-hmm.
They say no mosquitoes and no ticks and things like that.
Okay.
All right, good.
Okay.
I'm back to okay now.
Okay.
Okay, good. And then there was one other question. Which oils should we use and how much oil is too much oil?
No oil.
No,
No oil.
All right. Look, oil is not a food. At best, it's a poison. Or at best, it's a medicine. At worst, it's a poison.
Right.
There's no free oil in nature.
Right.
Okay, if you get oil out of an olive or an orange, etc., you have to process it. Right. When you process it, you have free oil. And the free oil has left behind it all the other protective nutrients, all the phytonutrients, all the vitamins, all the minerals. So that when you eat it, what happens, oil is safe and protected in the form of a nut or an, etc. If you take the rip of the oil out, the bottle, it's 9 calories per gram. It's the most fattening substance there is. It suppresses the immune system, cancer. It promotes viral infections. It is toxic, and besides that, it's unpalatable. Anybody who want to challenge, you go to the refrigerator now, pour yourself a glass of olive oil, and drink.
Right.
You can't do it. So,
Right.
anyway,
We couldn't do that. We don't have any olive oil.
We don't have any olive oil.
We don't have any olive oil.
so it's the fat you eat is the fat you wear on your skin and under your skin.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
thank you. We're getting a lot of thank yous from people here, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. McDougall. It has been a pleasure to have you on, and it's been, I'm sure, an a very inspiring presentation for the audience.
Suzanne's been monitoring Facebook, and there is a ton of gratitudes coming through on Facebook.
Yes, everyone's saying thank you both, and
Thank
Well,
you.
we're here. You know, I'm in the game. I'm not going to quit. Mary's in the game. We can win. I think
Absolutely.
nobody can win because there's no other option.
There's no option.
No one's
Exactly.
gonna hold us because we're always here.
Yeah, we're isolated.
Yeah, and it's such an amazing time that we are able to make this happen, you know, for our grandchildren. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm grateful to be alive at this time in the human history.
I am too. I'm actually optimistic for the first time. I've not been that pleasant to be around. Particularly when I wake up in the middle of the night, you know, almost in tears, thinking about the future. But over the last 3 weeks, I thought, boy, oh boy, you know, we have a chance. You know, it had to come out of such a surprising place, but it's caused everybody to rethink things. We're not going to go back. We're not going to go back.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
And thank goodness we have leaders like you. And, you know, just, and I do sincerely mean it. Before I met you, Dr. Rowe, I was, you know, I didn't have the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the day I called you up and I said, how in the world do you even get up in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
And you told me that it's because of your faith and your belief. Well, that helped me a lot because, you know, I was having trouble being overwhelmed by our future. And I didn't really feel like there was any hope. And then I found you. And you know, I thought, gee whiz, if there's somebody as crazy as I am, I bet we could fix this place.
You keep at it. Thank you very much.
Compliment.
You keep at it. It's great to see your smiling faces. You know, you're beautiful human beings. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Anytime you want to talk, it'll be fine with me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.